I usually don't make videos to reply to comments like this one here, but I want to be comprehensive, so I decided let me make a video because this question usually come up all the time, so I want to address it and for even future references. Now, between you and your doctor, you are the only person who knows your body better because you live with your body all the time. You only go to the doctor for some few minutes. That's the only time that they'll use to try to know you better, but you know yourself better. Now, there's a reason I usually don't give exact numbers in my videos. Like, for example, telling you, hey, you should take this amount of grams per day, because that will be a very misleading guide, and also that will be a very biased guide. You see, our bodies are usually different, and we are doing different things per day. Take, for example, someone who is growing, a young person who is from maybe 5 to 10 years, they are actively growing. So what they need is a lot of energy. They will require a lot of sources that will provide them with energy. Now, go to someone else, someone who is working in an office, someone who is above 20, let's say 25 years. They are working in an office. They're just seated there the whole day. Their power requirement or the energy requirements for them is low. They don't require as much because they don't use much of that. Now, let's go to someone who usually do manual work. So maybe they are working in a construction. But they are working in construction. Yeah, you use a lot of energy. So you have to use your muscle, your physical strength to lift whatever you're using in the construction. So their power requirement, their energy requirement is higher than me, who is just somewhere seated in an office, somewhere swinging my chair, just scratching my brains, or maybe using some tools like microscopes and also machines which are not using a lot of energy. So the only thing that I'm using are the brains only. So I need to get less energy per day because that will take me throughout the day. So I know if I take a certain amount of carbohydrates, it will take me throughout the day. Plus, if you look at me, I'm not in the extreme end, I'm not in the lower end. I'm there in between. So I can just take sugar and I'm comfortably okay with that because I know I don't need to take excess, I don't need to take less. So I just need to take only what will take me throughout the day because right now, I'm not planning to lose weight, I'm not planning to add weight. So I only need to eat what I will require during the day. So those people who require to fast are those that are planning to lose weight. Now, back to where we are. I digressed. Now, if you know that this is what I usually do during the day, and I usually take this amount of, or I require this amount of sugar per day, and by sugar, I've seen people usually getting confused. When I mention sugar, I'm talking about anything that has a carbohydrate in it. Anything that will give you carbohydrate, whether you have starch or fruits, whatever, so long as the end product will be either glucose or fructose or those sugars, I'm referring all of them to sugars, even if you're taking a fruit. Because I've seen people saying, hey, you're talking about taking sugars, but I don't take them. But I ask them, what do you usually take in a day? Oh, I'm fasting, but I usually take a fruit or two. No, those are sugars also, because they contain those sugars that we are talking about. So per day, you should know exactly how much you are taking for you to survive throughout the day. And the goal, because you see, we have those people who are just seated somewhere, they're not working as much, and over the time, they have taken more carbohydrates than required, more sugars than required. So this ended up building fat in them, and they want to lose that. So what they need to do is they need to create a deficit whereby they take less of that so that the body will now switch to burning the fat and reduce their weight and make them more healthier and reduce even, you see, when you're overweight or you're obese, we have so many complications that usually come as a result of that. There are so many. The list is so huge. You can just go and Google them. So you need to lose that. So if your goal is to lose weight, then you need to cut down that. If your goal is to just survive throughout the day, you can tell someone who is working somewhere in a construction that you need to fast. That person cannot fast. And that person will require carbohydrates throughout the day because that's the preferred energy source for the body. Otherwise, you're going to not achieve the same goals. The only thing that you need to avoid is processed sugars because what they do is they're so easily available to your body such that spiking that sugar in your blood will be so easy. Now, I'll give you another scenario. let's take, for example, this is a fruit, whichever fruit that you prefer. Now, I'll take what? Let's say a banana. Bananas will have sugars in them. And I would prefer you taking that banana compared to adding sugar into that tea, or maybe your cup of coffee or your tea. If you're taking true tea, I would prefer you take that banana or that fruit compared to that. The reason why that is usually very hard for you to overdose on sugars when it comes to you taking the actual fruits. Because if you take, for example, a full banana, let's say this one, you extract only the sugar component in it and then you put it in a spoon, you're going to find that it's very little, it's tiny. It's a tiny amount. Now, compare that to the 4 spoons that you usually put in that tea. You put 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, for you to extract the sugar that you have in this banana, it will amount to very few grams of sugar. Now, how many bananas are you going to take to equate to the same amount of sugar that you have added, the one that's already processed, the one that you added to that to the tea that you're taking? So many. So taking banana will be indirectly limiting you on how much of the sugar that you're going to take, because the physical size of that banana you'll have to take in, we have the cellulose that comes with that. And also for the fruit, not only are benefiting from the sugars and also the limited amount of sugar that it has, you're also benefiting from trace minerals, you are benefiting from vitamins. There are so many things that you're going to benefit from that single fruit. So in as much as it has sugar in fewer quantities, it will be way, way better than you just taking that thing or that sugar which is already processed. So that's why I usually prefer something natural compared to something synthetic. Anyway, your body does not know the difference between them, so whatever you take is the same. So if you're taking sugar, if it's processed, take a tiny amount just to keep you alive. That is, if you're not planning to lose weight, if you just want to stay just healthy, you are not planning to gain weight, you're not planning to lose weight, just take what is enough. If you're taking something like, let's say the bananas, for you to equate the amount of bananas that will amount to the sugar that you're taking in that tea will be so many, such that now the physical limitation will come into play here. Because you cannot take like 30 bananas, it will be very hard for you to do that. But you can take so many spoons, you can take 5 of them easily. It's so easy for you to overdose on those processed sugars, because you can just go to that local shop that you have there and buy that ice cream, that big bucket, and you just tackle the whole of that in a single sitting. It will be very hard for you to eat the amount of fruits that will equate to the sugars that you've taken in that full bowl of ice cream. Yes, it's the hard truth. And by the way, have you noted that if you are obese or maybe you are overweight, do you know sometimes it usually become very hard for you to control the urge to eat something sweet. You have those cravings that usually come every now and then. This is because your body will form that habit. Yes, it will form that habit, and you'll continue taking that. And unless you coordinate with your brains and your body, you say, hey, now I want to starve myself so that I start burning the fats that I already have, so that I'll be able to lose the weight that I already currently hold. And also I'm going to also burn some of the proteins that I have, now activate something that we call autophagy, so that I also get to recycle the cells and the proteins that I already have in the body. That's the only time that I'm going to become healthy. Unless you sit down and have that conversation with you, you're going to suffer from the same thing every now and then. And before you even do anything, first of all, sit down and know what sugars are and get to know exactly how to cause that sugar deficit in your body to trigger your body into now digesting or breaking down the fats, which will be now the goal, and also the glycogen that will be stored in your liver. So the goal will be that. Just know what sugars are and start now maybe limiting them, or just taking what's that tiny, what is enough. If you take the fruits, it will limit you through the physical size, and also you're going to benefit from other things. So I prefer you take the fruits. That is if you're totally healthy. But if the goal is to lose weight, stay away from anything that's sugar. So I hope I'm clear.